Hello, team. It's time for the Daily Detangler. And I wanted to talk to you about getting in the trenches and what I've seen over the past 8 days or so. Taking a little bit of a different approach here with this Detangler and going to play the tape to document and share with you what I'm seeing. And then also why I think it's a pattern, to see what you think and see if you see the patterns, and then also call out some things that are working as the team is moving extremely fast this past week. So just a bit of a disclaimer that I was going to do the next slide as a build, but it would have taken too long. So it's a really busy slide, but I'll walk you through it. So I'm going to go back to the about 8-9 days ago when the Kevin meeting happened, and our own possibility was positioned. So talk about possibility and selling what's possible. The meeting with Kevin happened, and then the Connect 21 conference popped on my radar, and that's a bit of a forcing function for the team. And then there's some positioning that's happening now to elevate even further and ripple out across IQVIA. So there's been some events here. So Catalyst conversation. The one on 4-4 was Catalyst sharing with us the method to the madness, so to speak, and why all these exercises and paying out why the exercises are important, and also how those exercises help set us up. So that's a great one. It had the elephant in it, and that elephant discussion and his discussion there set up the Daily Detangler on the book Switch that came out a few days later. But anyway, that's on the next slide. So 4-4 was the Catalyst conversation. Then the Mariana Gad commercial ratio back and forth. Catalyst sent out on 4-8 the what's possible microsite to talk about messaging. And then 4-9, Jen's conference deck one, the 4-9 popped on my radar. And I was like, oh, there's going to be a conference. And then Catalyst recorded his deck. So on 4-9, a bunch of activity. Draft one, Catalyst records feedback. He talks about the microsite, which is this microsite. So he puts out more, and this takes some catalyzing action with activator and clarity. Jen sends a draft 2. Catalyst sends an opening riff from the Showpad example to talk about the experience and to position the DeLorean experience example from Showpad and this time machine piece. And then kicked off the quote mining, which everybody participated in, I believe, where we all sent quotes to help populate what then became the deck for Connect 21, the conference, which is tomorrow, actually. Well, later today. And then the conceptor branded those quotes. Detangler put out an executive empathy Detangler. Lindsay chimed in with hero journey thoughts. Oops, that's a duplicate. And then Catalyst recapped this is how we roll. Here's what's coming into shape here email, which was basically a recap, a bit of, hey, this is what's going on, and really injecting a lot of positive energy with look at all the dots that I'm connecting, and he called out specifically what was working from across the team, and then kept moving into producing the Scott opener. So this was my what I saw was, okay, there's a conference, there's an opening piece, and then this selling what's possible shows up. So I was, seeing connections here. There's a selling what's possible messaging site. I had asked questions and said, "Hey, what's this for?" And Catalyst said, "We're going to take this content from the site and use it for the messaging." So there's two pieces. There's the opener and then the selling what's possible discussion. Back and forth. V3 happens on the 11th, and then Activator hits the Subway sandwich menu idea with the menu board and how that she did that at 11 on Omnitracks, and shared a second video on that with. So there was a lot of work she put into that, so that's why it's on here twice, and that helped with the positioning. So then what happened was that created a bit of a situation. I caught wind of that situation in a text exchange. I was like, what can I do to help? So I shot out this this idea of different tracks of a message, and then oops, these are duplicates. I was moving fast. And then on 411, Catalyst put out the important update showing the Omnitrack stuff and how the Omnitrack stuff help Jen connect the dots to what we were doing, and also how that routes to value discussion in Omnitracks was positioned based on the menu situation that happened. And then the Activator Hero Guide came out, and where she was talking about zoom in, zoom out. So what are some ingredients here, right? So there's some discussions that are happening with executives. There's some discussions with GADs. There's messaging work. There's a conference that's happening. But the overall piece of this that's being driven is this experience, and the experience of pulling all these components together and doing these fast revs. Yeah, sure, it's extremely fast. There's a lot of back and forth, and there's a state of kind of flow kind of happening. But the key here that I saw as this was going was these are ingredients to creating this experience for Jen to deliver to 700 salespeople on Tuesday. So that idea of what would be the quote unquote presentation became what kind of experience are we creating, and also morphed into not only what experience can Jen create, but what can Jen create in position for the 700 people to participate and get the help from Jen's team to do this. There's also this piece of ingredients or ideas in flight that were synthesized in the microsite and other emails and videos as ideas. So these ideas came out, and these ideas were flying around, and that those ideas helped fuel the talk track, and also provided Catalyst some inputs that he needed. So that Activator thing, Activator Hero Guide came out, and then it continued, right? So the Karen recording came out, so that's another GAD. And then there was practice role plays provided to Catalyst from Architect, and also Activator. I think Clarity probably did something in here. I just didn't see it. And then Jen says, hey, if anybody wants to proof the power of interactive process we used, just look at what we did here between V1 and V5. Also, Brooke shares more about choose your own items menu experience. So this was a video that she put a lot of work into this. Activator did, to call out the rationale for it and how it worked, and what the importance of it was and how it landed, and just shared her experiences with that. And then I did the switch, detangler, and then conceptor cleaned up Jen's deck. Then Jen has the What's Possible Emporium from Conceptor. So that's where the choose your own items experience, and also the menu situation happens, but it gets turned into the What's Possible Emporium from Conceptor. And then there's a GAD recording where activators shared the embedded PowerPoint audio of the call with the GAD team, to where Catalyst became part of their team and they talked it through. So basically in 9 days, 5 to 7 revisions. Looks like there's the opening and selling What's Possible, but there's also these things with the executives, Kevin, Gads, Jen, that are happening. These situations are unfolding. And then obviously there's the event, right? There's the event itself, and then they're positioning for rippling out afterwards. And there's the DeLorean concept, there's quotes, there's hero, there's improv, there's selling What's Possible, the sandwich menu board. It's like a movie. Also, obviously, there's core visuals in play in the core decks, such as the complexity visuals, productitis. There's the concepts of obviously the possibility pitch, path, profile, practice, the puzzle pieces, etc. And Catalyst was reinforcing the idea of experience throughout. So that's a key principle. And then I kind of put this out. So Catalyst reinforces and calls things out. And then he's rehearsing, he's role playing. So there's rehearsing that's happening in the videos, and also in his documentation, these emails that he sends, he's rehearsing, and then he role plays, and then he recaps, revises, and then removes. So that simplifies or removes anxiety and push moving people out, like myself, who inject anxiety, right? Putting us into a different role. But there's also this simplification that happens through this iterative process. So that's why it's a pattern to me. There's a reinforcement, with the reinforcements on the front end to, hey, remember what's going. He rehearses it. That's different than role playing. It's documentation on the front end, creating C slides, role play it, recap, revise, remove. And that's kind of what I see there. And then one of the things that I say, well, why is that a pattern? It's this bow tie picture keeps playing out over and over and over again, in my view. Hey, there's some things happening, and there's this prep phase with the reinforcements that happen and opening up these swim lanes, and then these swim lanes converge into this particular forcing function of the conference, or these swim lanes converge into a key component of the overall engagement. And then that diverges again and creates new swim lanes where more work can happen. And these swim lanes could be, a discussion with executives, or creating content for a course, could be the positioning with the GADs, or talking with AJ, or whatever, right? And then this feeds the loop over and over again. So we observe and synthesize, we ideate and prototype. So it's get really busy, 9 days of a lot of activity, bring it into a conference on Tuesday, and then these things will get reopened up into a new set, and then boom, there'll be a new forcing function. So that's kind of what I see over and over again. And I can't remember where I even got this visual came from. It looks like a Catalyst created visual, but this thing pops into my head a lot, and I'm seeing it play out. So what are these kind of situations that that happen. There's swim lanes that get opened up, or there's these nodes, and then there's this situation that happens with the conference, and that's kind of an exclamation point. But there are also these different situations of divergence and convergence that happen. And it's an interesting discussion, because I think this came from Activator. I had this visual of the background information, the historical context becomes the situation of now, like right now, and then we're driving towards a vision. But I love this. I actually like this picture as well, because it's kind of the what is the current state, the why we're doing what we need to be doing, and then who's involved to bring together the emotional and the logical. And obviously we're moving from the current state to the future state. So this little box here is a good, it's kind of how I think about a situation. So this situation happens in the present, and there are situations that are positioning us where we're setting ourselves apart. There's situations where Catalyst is shaping and influencing the criteria. There's situations where he's bridging, he's creating a link to concepts or creating momentum. And then there's kind of a converting set of situations where the interest and the curiosity creates ongoing commitment. So he's converting something impossible to possible, or converting an idea into kind of an action. Those are some patterns I'm seeing there. And I think that's an interesting playing of the tape for me, is when I think about how these things are, these swim lanes are opening and closing, and all of this, it looks like activity, but really it's all by design. And this design is to shake out an experience and let the experience evolve and come out. And that creates opportunities for us to position and shape the future, and bridge to existing work, and bridge to our capabilities, as well as bridge to other people inside of IQVIA, and then convert these ideas into action, and convert what's possible into an opportunity to pursue. So what works there is, I'm borrowing this list from emails that Catalyst has sent, but what's the situation? How do you think about situation, right? What's your thoughts around situation, and then what do you do to help understand the situation and follow that situation as it unfolds? That's important, and I'd love to unpack your take on what you think the situation is and situations are. Also, what works is working to the outcome or the goal, not the task. Showing up with curiosity, role playing a lot. Role playing is it's the fuel. It's the way where clarity comes from. It's where ideas are forged. There's many iterations. It's going to move fast, and practice the improv steps. The yes and, the putting yourself out there, being okay to fail, etc. And the key principle for me is engaging with this idea of the experience in mind, and how does this experience unfold as we're in the trenches, and how Catalyst is turning on the flame of creation to forge the experience through action. And that's an example of, to me, getting in the trenches. When you see all that activity as a design, so it becomes not random activity, but intentional action aligned to drive an outcome and a goal. In this case, the forcing function of Tuesday's meeting. And that's, lays out a lot of pebbles for driving change is what I'm um, thinking about there, and how um, those types of approaches to get everybody's input, to broaden perspective, and then bring it together into an event, really lays a lot of track, not just pebbles, but actually lays track to drive change. And that's what it feels like to me, is this event on Tuesday is not a pebble event. It's a track event. It's laying some track on the change bridge. So that's an example that I see of getting in the trenches, and also what's working there and some of the patterns I see unfolding. And I think from a orchestration, right? People, process, information, and technology, thinking about that and how that plays out. All of those are key variables. All those orchestration components are key variables to creating the experience. So that's your daily detangler for today. Great job, from what I've seen on everybody's in the trenches with Catalyst, and it's really fascinating to document some of this. And I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough. It's great work. Have a great day. Take care.